we begin now with an update on the superintendent progress in Tulsa Midway. Now, for those of you who just landed on the planet or don't know what's been happening so far, let me bring you up to speed here. This all started back in July when Superintendent Rick Fernandez decided to tamper with the kids' grades. And so, when they reached a decision of who done it, it was Rick Fernandez. And all this was started back in July. And the board was like, the board went on all meetings. Like every time there were every time the board would just go to all meetings and say like this and that and the other, and then what happened was they say, oh, we need to reschedule because of all this. We don't know what to do. So here is the very latest.
How's the single life been?
The banter, it's small talk, pretending to be someone you're not.
Tulsa Midway ISD School Board will meet Tuesday to once again discuss the fate of the district superintendent.
That's today.
The board chose not to take action during a closed-door executive session Friday night. Tuesday will be the fourth time that TMISD board members will discuss the fate of Dr. Rick Fernandez. The last 3 meetings, no action was taken. An attorney for the school district said that the board suspended Fernandez because of concerns about work performance. Others say that they believe it's a retaliation for Fernandez exposing grade tampering, which improves certain students' class rankings.
If we're going to bring Dr. Fernandez back, then let's bring him back. But we need to hold him to the high standards of this district. If they're going to terminate him, then do so. And let's get moving. This district needs to heal.
We'll keep you updated, and for the very latest on this story, be sure to visit our website at christv.com.
And I'll bring you up to date on this show as well.
All right, welcome.
So, yeah, if we're going to terminate it, they're going to bring him back, okay, we'll bring him back, but he needs to be held accountable for his actions. What does that mean? Well, basically, he needs to know when he did was wrong, so we can't jump ahead. Secondly, he can't be just sitting there going, he needs to start being held accountable. And what he's been doing, yes, he has been held accountable for his actions. And he's been on Twitter right now, and he hasn't posted much. All he's done is just simply, he hasn't even posted much since this. He hasn't even posted much since this. Because of his work performance. Well, we haven't even seen him do much work. So, my concern is if he comes back, then she's right. We got to start holding him accountable. Which is exactly right. And I agree with the employees, or former employees. And listen, you guys, I take everything, every single one of these topics in the news, I take everything with a grain of salt. And when I take these things seriously, I take everything very seriously. So, when I do these topics on the show, I take everything very seriously. I give you guys updates and tell you what's been happening since, and give you guys the backup here. Meaning, I give you guys updates. I take you back to what's been happening since, and since then, the board's been sitting there going, we don't have a decision yet. We don't have a decision yet. We don't have a decision yet. We can't do this. We can't do that. The attorney said, because of work performance. Okay. That's one thing and the other. So, I guess these board members are weak. They're not strong enough to do the right thing. So when Monday comes, when today comes, we'll find out soon enough. And I hope these board meetings will be public or will be streamed live. In which today, this one was from the 15th. So I hope that we finally figure something, and I hope we come to the end of this chaos. Alright. Next, story that report that I told you about last week, about Robstown ISD creating an app. It's up and running. What do you have to say about it? Find out after the break. If you were walking the halls of Robstown ISD, you would know those QR codes. And when you point them, they send you to an app that you can report bullying to. Last week I told you about a school in Robstown that is doing such a thing. And they have a new app. And now, they released a new system combating bullying at schools, so let's take a look.
Iceland works with top hotels to save you up to 60%.
And let me tell you, I take this bullying business
And when you
very seriously with a grain of salt.
you feel like a big deal. Priceline. Every trip is a big deal.
So let's take a look. Let's take a look.
Top tonight, the local school district encourages students to use their voice by reporting incidents they see on campus with a simple capture of a QR code. Our Alexis Green spoke with Robstown ISD Superintendent on their plans to roll out their new system this Friday. It is our top story.
And it's coming up on Friday, so here's Lexus Green.
Robstown ISD is taking the see something, say something to another level with their new system on reporting incidents, and it's as simple as scanning a QR code.
The most powerful lesson we can teach our kids is to use their voice.
Robstown Superintendent Dr. Jose Moreno says the system was made in-house with the district's technician who worked alongside social workers to help identify struggles students may be facing both on and off campus.
It's not just tailored to bullying. That's normally what you hear is an app that's tailored to bullying. This My Voice reporting system is going to have 23 different criteria. System reports that you can. It could be abuse. It could be a theft. It can be something that you just see that doesn't quite look right.
According to Dr. Moreno, each student will receive a My Voice QR code, and they will also be located around each campus, allowing students, staff, and community members to stay anonymous if they wish.
They can always carry it with them in their notebook. So we'll not only have a sticker per child, we'll have it in all the restroom facilities because that was a student suggestion. And as well as across all of our school districts, there will be posters.
The reporting system also has an option to upload documents, pictures, or screenshots as evidence.
And putting their cell phone to good use to be able to help out others.
Dr. Moreno says the data collected will also give the district a better idea of what resources and programs their students might find useful. Lexus Green, 3 News.
Thank you, Alexis, for that.
And it's gonna be set this Friday. So I hope Robstown ISD can really take this. We have to give students their voice, a very powerful voice. Not many students have a voice, so they need a voice. A great voice. And speaking of bullying, you remember about a year ago. You remember this about a year ago. In Southlake, Texas, there was an incident of bullying that happened about a year ago because of the Holocaust. And this former student came forward and describes that bullying, so hear what he has to say.
My name is Jake Berman, and Southlake has been a part of my life since my parents moved here before I started kindergarten in 1994. My parents moved my brother and I here for this very school district, at the time a 3A district that claimed to offer one of the best public secondary educations in the state. This was consistent with my experience for a time, as I was able to learn from excellent teachers and administrators alike. It was one of those administrators, then the Dawson principal, that strongly urged my parents to pull me out of the district in 8th grade. I was subject to a rash of bullying, almost all of which was anti-Semitic in nature. I received everything from jokes about my nose to gas chambers, all while studying for my bar mitzvah from a Holocaust survivor as my primary tutor. Last week's occurrence was assuredly a misstep and a mistake, not due to her any internal feeling from her. And Dr. Ledbetter's statement correctly stated that there are not two sides to the Holocaust, and I'm very thankful for Dr. Ledbetter using such clear language, as this elucidates the reality of the ridiculous and stupid law here in the state of Texas. Here are the facts, many of which in this country want to either whitewash or ignore. The facts are that there are not two sides to the Holocaust. The Nazis systematically killed millions of people. There are not two sides to slavery. White Europeans enslaved black Africans in this country until June 19th, 1865, a moment we're barely 150 years removed from. There are not two sides to Jim Crow. There are not two sides to racism, and that same oppression continues today. These are facts. The other facts are that I, a Jewish kid born in Dallas, was bullied on a daily basis for my religion for almost 2 years in this very district, nearly driving me to suicide before thankfully being removed from the environment thanks to an administrator. I still struggle with the depression that started at Dawson Middle School in 2003 to this very day. The message you and the state are sending to your teachers opens a door for more of this type of behavior in your students. If you don't think that these same attacks are happening in your schools today with regard to someone's skin color, gender, or religion, you're sorely mistaken. You have the opportunity as a district to lead the state that's sorely in need of leadership in its education department, as shown by its 38th ranking nationally. There are 8,400 students in the district whose minds need to be cultivated and developed, and hundreds of extremely capable teachers and administrators who desperately need to be supported. This is a crossroads for the state and for this district. One path is an opportunity to lead and be on the right side of history. The other will cost you and your children a quality education.
Thank you.
And they cut him off. 2 minutes. It was supposed to be 7 minutes. Which brings me to this point. Board meetings for public. 2 minutes? That's not enough. You need to make it 7 minutes. Just cut him off. Hey, 2 minutes over? Or but he does make a good point here. He really does, and I've seen bullying happening from a lot of places. In school, in public, even workplaces. But school's the most important thing because they don't care. And not many people agree with me or the others here. But this is the real deal. And if we don't do something about it, it's going to come back and bite us. And it's because of the Holocaust. I mean, you can't bully Jewish people because of what they suffered back in the 1800s. So he makes a very good point. You gotta teach our children, and this law, that's David's law about bullying. Because in this state, it's against the law to bully. But there is something else happening. And I'm not going to spend the rest of this half hour dealing with it, but when we come back, we're going to have more. Welcome back. What can be done about these school shootings? More officers? Maybe. More rules? More laws? Well, it depends on the Second Amendment. What about the suggestion of arming teachers? Having teachers bringing guns to school. When Trump was president, he brought up the idea, and he was mocked for it. He was like, no arming teachers. And yet, one school district here in Texas decided to do just that. Train campus, train teachers, and train police officers. I mean, that's the whole thing about arming teachers. Teachers bringing guns to defend themselves. And so, that's what it's all about. Making sure that you...
Shooting in South Florida.
17 people shot
Make sure
to
that's what it's
death.
all about.
What
Take
can
a
be
look.
done about school shootings? Some say kids will be safer if some teachers carry guns. President Trump said that.
We need to let people know, you come into our schools, you're going to be dead.
Trump was mocked for suggesting teachers have guns.
Arming teacher is completely insane.
It's a terrible idea.
A terrible idea. But Trump's critics probably don't even know that many teachers have brought guns to school for years. In Texas, teachers carry in about 200 schools. This high school advertises that.
I can see that sign out on the highway. Boy, it's a great, man.
Parents we interviewed here like the policy.
And I do too.
I think we need it.
It makes me feel safer.
I love the King gun policy.
Superintendent Ricky Stevens created it, saying if there's trouble, teachers want to go defend the kids.
We know our staff and our teachers are going to go. Do we want them to go with a pencil or go with a pistol?
Everybody's against it.
This Florida student says teachers carrying guns is a terrible idea.
You're asking a teacher to fight an assault rifle with a handgun. That seems like a pretty unfair fight to me.
The teachers have handguns against somebody with a big gun. That's not much.
It's not much, but it's better than nothing. If you go there with nothing, you have no chance of stopping anything.
The police come. They see your teacher with a gun. How do you keep them from shooting her?
We train a lot with our local law enforcement. So that helps us because we want them to at least know we're there and at least recognize us. If they happen to get shot while they're stopping a tragedy, all of our guardians had said, you know, that's just the price of being a guardian.
His teachers saw how during the Florida school shooting, the security guard waited outside.
It made me mad.
It's a reason she's glad she can carry her gun at school.
You have to have a fighting chance if something should happen at our school.
We hid her identity because she and the school don't want a potential attacker to know which teachers are armed.
Are you carrying now? Of course.
Many people say armed teachers create new dangers.
Teacher accidentally fired a gun in his classroom.
At this California school, a teacher mistakenly shot at the ceiling. One student was slightly hurt by falling debris. But that's the only incident we could find where a student was injured.
Took a rifle to his...
On the other hand, armed teachers have stopped school shootings.
16-year-old Luke Woodham has been arrested.
Same thing.
When this student killed two classmates, an assistant principal with a gun held the killer at gunpoint until police arrived. We don't know how often armed teachers deter shootings. The media can't cover crimes that never happened. The media also distort what President Trump proposed.
Donald Trump said teachers should have guns. Teachers should not be required to protect and serve and to teach.
Required? No teacher's required to carry.
It's option.
Voluntary. Those who
Voluntary or
want to bring their
optionary?
guns to school can. Here's another distortion.
I really do not support the idea of arming teachers.
Arming teachers. Arming teachers. A new federal program? That's not what the president proposed. Lots of teachers already have guns. All the school has to do is allow some to bring their guns to school. At the Keene School District, however, Superintendent Stevens did create a new government program.
The school purchases a gun, and then we give them and register them to our teacher.
That way, he says, he can make sure all teachers have training on the same type of gun. Finally, as we ponder the best way to keep students safe, we should address the scariest myth. The epidemic of shootings.
Epidemic of school shootings.
Despite
what the media says.
There is no epidemic of school shootings. No sharp increase. School shootings kill far fewer kids than driving, suicide, drowning, even suffocating. Why now? School shootings are not at a big uptick.
Exactly right. But we prepare for them because if even one shooting happens, it's more than we would want.
You're 10 times as likely to die suffocating.
Right.
You can't protect against all these things.
No, but we do train our kids in school
Exactly.
how to not suffocate, how not to drown.
Certainly,
Exactly.
armed teacher program is cheaper than what my town does. New York City spends hundreds of millions of dollars stationing police officers in and around schools. Of course, here and in most blue states, suggesting that some teachers carry weapons horrifies people.
They don't understand that a responsible, trained teacher with a firearm is better than having a teacher with nothing. Texas will definitely probably be leading the way when it comes to protecting our kids with weapons, and that New York would choose to go a radically different way.
I'm glad that we live in a country where the local people can decide what goes on in their school district and not a bunch of people in New York City.
It's good that America has 50 states. That allows experiments.
Exactly.
Teachers in New York City may fear guns, but teachers in Texas can serve and protect.
I agree. And so we have to train teachers about if a teacher wants to carry a gun, we still got to train them. And I agree. If your teacher wants to voluntarily protect his or her students, then that's what they have to do. There's no argument there. It's just simply, if you want to protect your child, protect your child. Parents may do the same for their kids, but for teachers, it's just simply serve and protect. I'll be back in a moment. Tomorrow, an update about Rick Fernandez. Is he coming back? Is he fired? Well, we'll hear from that after today's school board meeting, which is going to happen today, and I'll update you tomorrow, along with some other topics. That's tomorrow. That's on tomorrow's Give Me Breaks. That's on tomorrow's Company Breaks. Look for that, and I'll see you tomorrow for Wednesday's Cut Me a Break. That's all visitation to Cut Me a Break Tuesday. We'll see you again tomorrow for Cut Me a Break Wednesday. Have a good day, everyone. Take care of yourself and each other. And remember, stop bullying, speak up. We all have a voice. Good day.